sues UNC Board of Trustees. Details on the allegations made in the lawsuit.
I think I'm gonna have to evacuate. The river's in my front yard.
1 year later, the struggle to cope with the trauma Hurricane Helene left behind will introduce you to a woman who now lives a new reality.
Don't take it. If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol.
President Donald Trump says there could be a link between autism and pregnant women who take Tylenol. Hear from medical experts and why many are pushing back.
From the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Welcome to Carolina Week. I'm Leah Mitchell.
And I'm Mackenzie Acton.
A new lawsuit is now sparking questions about closed-door meetings at UNC. A former UNC Chapel Hill provost is now suing the university's Board of Trustees. Our own Emma Hill is outside the South Building to break down the details of the lawsuit. Emma, I heard this is a 16-pager.
Back, we're here at South Building where Clemens used to work but doesn't anymore. Take a look at what I found so far on the lawsuit. Former UNC Chapel Hill Provost Chris Clemens is now suing the university's Board of Trustees. Clemens filed the lawsuit Monday. The move comes just months after he announced his resignation and told Carolina in an exclusive interview,
"I'm not having fun anymore."
According to the lawsuit, the Board of Trustees violated open meeting laws by holding a closed session earlier this year. Clemens says trustees used that meeting to debate the value of tenure, not individual tenure cases. The filing also claims Clemens had to resign after he told faculty leadership about what was discussed in closed session. A month after the lawsuit claims that meeting took place, he told us
that the university is under some threats that we haven't seen before, and I'm not sure I'm the best person to manage that.
Clemens also claims in the lawsuit that trustees are using encrypted messaging apps like Signal to discuss university matters. He says this can be a way to avoid public record requirements, raising questions about transparency and accountability. University officials say the university is aware of the case but will not comment on the situation since the case is pending. The lawsuit also sheds light on some of the alleged conversations surrounding the hiring of football coach Bill Belichick that Clemens claims also took place behind closed doors. Back to you guys at the desk.
Emma Hill, thank you so much.
Citing safety concerns, UNCW is now postponing several events that highlight freedom of expression. They have stopped issuing permits and are delaying those that have already been issued after a threat on campus. Here's the alert that was at the center of this. A lockdown took place on UNCW's campus on Thursday after threats were reported of a potential gunman on campus, according to alerts sent by UNCW students. UNCW told students to shelter in place as law enforcement proceeded to check campus to clear any threats. Eventually, that evening, UNCW sent out a message to students informing that the threats were a false alarm and there was no attacker on campus. Given the nature of these threats, school officials say they are pausing events for safety. UNC Chapel Hill officials also responded, saying they were closely monitoring the situation and believe there is no direct threat to this campus. Jimmy Kimmel is now back on air for the first time since the FCC took his show off the air last week. After conservative activist Charlie Kirk's death, Kimmel made a statement about the political affiliation of the shooter. Disney pulled Kimmel's show from the air under direction from Brendan Carr, the head of the FCC. Despite returning to most markets last night, a couple local TV station owners refused to air Kimmel, which resulted in dozens of ABC affiliates skipping the show last night. Kimmel's opening monologue was an emotional one.
I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't. Ever.
President Donald Trump says Tylenol can lead to autism. He says acetaminophen, which many refer to as Tylenol, can lead to, quote, a very increased risk of autism. Tylenol's maker calls acetaminophen the safest pain reliever option for pregnant women. Some medical experts say autism is caused by a number of factors and note a suggested link between Tylenol use during pregnancy. And autism is not settled science. The former director of the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases at the CDC said the administration should release research to prove its point.
Show us the data, show us the information, show us the justification, and then we can talk about it.
Along with skepticism about oral medicine, with it being flu season, some people are skeptical about long-term side effects from the vaccines. According to a study done by National Institutes of Health in 2023, the anti-vaccine movement has become, quote, increasingly well organized, with repercussions for public health. A former CDC worker, Megan Weinberg, an infectious disease epidemiologist, explained how the more people are vaccinated, the safer the population is as a whole.
I think people have gotten concerned about it. The science and the data are still there to demonstrate that it is safe and it is effective. It was effective during the pandemic and it's effective now.
Coming up on Carolina Week, a look at the impact of Hurricane Helene and the 1 year after the disaster.
I feel like it's more of like an extension of what I already would put into my job.
You're given a lot of some to soothe you, some to nourish you, some to please you. Eventually, there comes a point where you can choose what you receive. The things you choose affect the way you live your life. The choice is yours. Choose wisely.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. Hurricane Helene happened just 1 year ago, but its effects are still lingering within its victims. I talked to a survivor who tells us life has never been the same.
All Expertech completely covered with debris and cars turned over, and there was a tree on Tunnel Road with a car sitting on top of the tree, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing.
A year later, these are images Kim Pierce can't get out of her head. Hurricane Helene destroyed her home in Asheville and her way of life.
If my car's underwater, that means that I've lost my home. My home must be underwater.
In September of last year, Pierce had just bought a new condo and was making plans to spend more time with her grandchildren. But 4 days later, everything changed.
I think I'm going to have to evacuate. The river's in my front yard.
The river would eventually rise so high, it forced her to escape through the woods that night to a neighboring condo on higher ground.
I walked in, and this woman, she had a tree in her kitchen. The water was pouring down. There were about 6 people standing there, and she looked at me and she goes, "Well, who are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm the new neighbor." And she started laughing, and then she started sobbing.
Her family had no idea where she ended up. Her 2 sons-in-law searched for her and eventually assumed the worst.
And Stuart said to Ben, "Now we have to go home and tell our wives that their mama has died."
A year later, she still hasn't fully escaped the horror.
It was a true miracle for me because I thought I had to say goodbye to that chandelier, and it's one of my favorite things my mom's ever given me.
Even a chandelier, one of the few things she managed to salvage, a constant reminder of how quickly things can change and how long the road to recovery can be.
And honestly, it's only been in the last 2 weeks, Mackenzie, that my brain has felt more free than it did in the last year.
Anniversary of Hurricane Helene is on Saturday, and as an Ashevillean myself, that is a day I'll never forget. Speaking of rain, I hear we might have some coming up this week. Hopefully no flooding. Megan, can you let us know what we're going to expect?
Yeah, Mackenzie, before we jump into the rain for this week, which of course isn't going to be quite as flooding as Helene was, I thought we would talk about why Helene made as much flood waters as it did. Hurricane Helene was already on its way when there was a giant rain event already happening for the western parts of North Carolina. This cut-off low pressure system here. A cut-off low pressure system is when a low pressure system is stationary. It is stuck where it is. And a low pressure system is going to bring a lot of rain with it. So that low pressure system sat there for 2 days and brought so much rain and water into the mountains before Helene even hit. So there was already flooding and the ground was already super saturated before the hurricane even made landfall into North Carolina. On that third day, once Helene finally moved up into the area, there was nowhere else for the water to go except for down into the rivers and valleys. And since the soil was so saturated, that's what caused those mudslides, because all of the rain and water was being forced downward into that valley, unfortunately. It also made the path that it did because it was stuck in between these two pressure systems in this jet stream here, which was forcing it to move upward along the east coast. And you can see here, this is the eye of Helene down here. This is that rain event the days before. So the entire eastern seaboard was already seeing lots of rain. As we move into today, though, it's going to be nice and sunny as we head through your Wednesday. We're seeing temperatures in the mid-80s by your noontime hour, warming up into the lower 90s by 3 p.m., and then we'll finish out closer to the mid-80s by 6 p.m. As we head through today, like I said, we're going to have some sunshine in our area, but you can see some lingering rain starting to head towards us. This could be mostly spotty rain, spotty showers for Thursday and into this weekend, but we won't see it until Thursday evening, maybe even Thursday night. Coming with it on Friday morning is a cold front, which will drop temperatures down from the lower 90s to the lower 80s, and that, like we see here, will bring more rain as we head into Saturday and Sunday. So looking at it in our forecast, we're looking at sunny skies as we move into Wednesday. Temperatures in those lower 90s. We'll have sun for most of the day on Thursday, and then it should start to rain by the evening. And then as we move into this weekend, that cold front will come through, dropping us down into the lower 80s and bringing rain on your weekend.
Megan, the meteorologist, thank you so much. Right now, fears of immigration raids are forcing North Carolina's Latino community to question whether public festivals feel safe. At La Fiesta del Pueblo, organizers say the celebration matters now more than ever.
And we're here to stay.
UNC student Yuri Gallegos believes it's important now more than ever to show up for the community. It's part of the reason she's volunteering this year. And for Communications Director Veronica Aguilar, the celebration is about visibility.
It's a festival that's been going on for 31 years now with the community to celebrate our pride, our existence, and our resistance as the Latino community.
But this year, the celebration came with added pressure. A similar event in Charlotte was canceled due to fears of immigration raids. Still, Aguilar said the festival shows the resilience of North Carolina's Latino community.
It's a really beautiful example of just how strong and how connected to the growth of this state the Latino community has been.
Even as many celebrate, questions about enforcement policies loom over public gatherings.
It's not a cultural thing, it's a legal thing.
UNC's College Republican President Preston Hill says he supports cultural gatherings, but on immigration enforcement, he makes no exceptions. Being undocumented, he says, is a crime.
If their goal is to, evade ICE, evade law enforcement, then it might not be the best idea to congregate like that in a public setting.
Hill says undocumented status can make someone a target for questioning or enforcement by authorities.
The law is the law, and I think, if they are an undocumented person, then that means that they've you know, they've committed a crime of some sort.
Despite the concerns on both sides, hundreds gathered at La Fiesta del Pueblo to dance, eat, and celebrate their heritage. Wow, great music. There are still 3 weeks of Hispanic Heritage Month. From fiestas to artificial intelligence, with AI advancing, our team wanted to find out if people are worried about the future of AI in their profession. From English professors to pre-health students, there is no shortage of concern for what effects of AI could be on current and future professions.
And of training people to think in ways that AI is taking over.
But I think that it takes away a lot of the empathy and the humanness that is involved in medicine. So I honestly think it may be more harms in the state that it's in right now.
Not everyone we spoke to believes AI is all bad. In fact, many admitted that AI helps them with their day-to-day tasks.
Children with cleft palates now have $27,000 more in funding from the UNC Craniofacial Center. Miles for Smiles, a UNC dental student group, raised money for children with cleft palates at their 5K on Sunday. Crowds of people showed up to Cleft Palate Gallop on Sunday morning, eager to make a difference in the lives of kids with cleft palates. With the many often required surgeries, bills can become a major hardship for many families. UNC dental students ran the 5K to show their support for the cause.
For today will affect these families and these kids' lives.
Well, any way that they can, like treatment or support in any way, hospital bills, transportation costs,
100% of the proceeds go to the UNC Craniofacial Center, where funds will be distributed to families in need.
Speaking of running athletics, we have Molly. We have Molly here with us from Sports Extra to tell us what's going on with our Tar Heels. But speaking of running, do you like to run?
You know, my running days are over, but I am thinking about getting back into them in anticipation of the Tar Heel 10-miler in April, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, and tune in for what we have with athletics. Carolina Week.
It's been a year of growth. I'm focused, I'm resilient. It's been a rewarding year. All the hours of late night studying, all the hard work, all the breaking bad habits is finally paying off. I'm an athlete. I'm an academic.
Oh my God.
I can be whatever I set my mind to. And I am not my old bad habits.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. Mackenzie, did you know that summer officially ended on Sunday?
Yes, and even though fall just started, UNC's fall sports teams have been dominating for a while. Sports Extra's Molly Malik has more.
Thanks, Aaliyah. There's no surprise here that field hockey's own Riley Heck is the ACC Co-Offensive Player of the Week. Now, Riley Heck has this coming just after she lit up the pitch this weekend in games against Cal and Stanford. She racked up a total of 7 goals and 2 assists while leading the team to victory, including this pop-up shot to the left corner to get it past Stanford's goalie. Heck was named ACC Player of the Year last season, and she's on track to claim it again. And the women's soccer team will face off against their toughest opponent yet when they take on Notre Dame tonight. Olivia Thomas will need to capitalize on her impact to put points on the board, just as she did with this standout goal against Virginia Tech. And Notre Dame sophomore Izzy Angle, who nailed this goal against Duke, will require special attention from the Heels back line. Then we've got another stellar performance from UNC goalie Abby Gundry, who's fresh off 5 saves against FSU. It'll be key in controlling the Fighting Irish. And we've got UNC Swimming, who will take on Queens this weekend in their first meet of the season. This will be the first time seeing freshman Ranger Barty swim after his electric high school career. It's also an opportunity to see how sophomore Martin Kartavi defends his #1 rank in the 50-yard freestyle. And the women's team expects to see a strong performance from freshman Cameron Meskill, a 7-time high school state champion in freestyle and butterfly. She's looking to fill the role of former UNC swimmer Skylar Smith, who joined the USA national team roster last week. And as an homage to the famed book series, the Carolina Quidditch Club brings the fictional land of Hogwarts to Chapel Hill, serving students of all skill levels and interests. Alexandra Jones brings us the story of one of Carolina's unique sports clubs.
Carolina Quad Ball brings Quidditch to life in Chapel Hill, among fans and athletes alike.
You may know us as Quidditch, but the new name of the sport is Quad Ball. It's a combination of rugby, soccer, and like dodgeball.
Since arriving at UNC in 2015, Quad Ball has been a high-energy, full-contact sport students love.
Honestly, I was a Harry Potter nerd growing up, and then they tried to explain to me that this was a real sport, so I showed up to practice. And it was really fun and really cool, so I stuck with it.
When Hernandez joined, the club wasn't in a league, but returned to competition last year after renewed interest.
The sport is all over the country. We play schools such as NC State, Duke, UNC Wilmington, and there's also US teams.
I'm here at Hooker Field, where Carolina Quad Ball practices twice a week, on Fridays and Sundays. Though a club sport, this team's schedule is packed with local tournaments, regionals in February, and nationals in March. For members, the highlights aren't trophies, but the community they've built.
We didn't do great at nationals, but we were pretty proud that we went. Afterwards, we all got in a circle and we all said our favorite memories.
At Carolina, Quad Ball has become so much more than just a sport.
I feel like I found my family at Chapel Hill. I feel like I can just come and have fun, get my energy out, and get some exercise and express my competitiveness.
So come on out to Hooker Fields to live out your childhood dream and find a new community. I'm Alexandra Jones reporting.
Club sports like this are vital to the Chapel Hill community, giving students a chance to try something new and make lifelong connections. Aaliyah and Mackenzie, do you think you guys have what it takes for Quidditch?
Quad ball and put me in, coach.
Ooh, not me. I can barely run a mile, so I don't think quad ball is my calling. But that is all we have for this Block of Carolina week. We'll be right back.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, are you still coming out tonight?
I'm not sure.
Touch base again. Did you say we're last week?
I know. It's so suffocating, but I just keep thinking about him.
Girl, you do so much better than him. He's still class only.
Yeah, but I feel like, when he comes around, girl.
Yeah, that don't ever last.
You're right. He's super clingy. But I promise this is the last time.
You said that the last time, and the time before that, your relationship is healthy for you. You gotta let go.
Okay, you're right. I can't let him control me more.
So, are you coming out or what?
Yeah. I'll be ready. I'll be there in half an hour.
Yes. Okay, I'll see you soon.
Okay, see ya.
Okay, bye.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. The UNC Arboretum is getting a makeover. The long-term project is focused on preserving the Arboretum's history, improving drainage, and making pathways more accessible for the future. The redesign includes a new steel and wood structure along Cameron Avenue, adding safety features and improved access for all students and visitors. Director of the North Carolina Botanical Garden, Damon Waite, says the redesign is more than just rebuilding the structure.
We're all about cultivating connections between plants, people, and place, and I see the arbor as like a venue for that, right? There's so much traffic on that part of campus, and those are your people.
Renovations at Coker Arboretum have been underway since 2022.
And today marks the second day of repentances in the Jewish tradition, a time between the New Year, which was Monday night, and Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year, which is just a week away. Rosh Hashanah directly translates to head of the year and a time of new beginnings in the Jewish traditions. Jewish families celebrated the year 5786 with traditions like dipping apples into honey to symbolize a sweet new year, as well as blowing the shofar, a ram's horn, which symbolizes waking the body for repentance. For the 24th year in a row, UNC ranked as a top 5 public university. Go Heels by U.S. News and World Report, and best value among public universities for the 21st year. UNC jumped up to the public university rankings to 4th after being ranked 5th last year. Chancellor Lee Roberts says, quote, rising from number 5 to number 4 clearly shows the impact of our public mission and the hard work of our students, faculty, and staff. Roberts also stated that, quote, our goal is to be the nation's best public university, and this recognition shows we are on the right path.
That'll do it for this week's episode of Carolina Week. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next week.